stepping into a profession often means adding certifications beyond formal education. Cybersecurity is definitely no different from that, and in a sense echoes what's happened in technology over the last 20 or 30 years anyway. In cybersecurity, there's a relatively small number of certifications though. And in this case, I want to talk about vendor-neutral certifications, and that means they're not tied to using a particular piece of equipment or a particular software from one vendor or from one company. So vendor-neutral, I'm neutral of companies, but these would be certifications that I am skilled, that I have knowledge, and that I can address the issues at a particular level regarding security. I'm going to mention just 3 today. There are more, and so those can certainly be investigated online. They are sometimes presented to students during education, and as I've done research into cybersecurity education, I certainly have noticed the different trends, different types of institutions as to whether they work in certifications, whether they make them part of coursework, or whether they are completely separate, and students must go out and find these on their own. How do employers use them? Well, employers use them as an indicator. That doesn't mean that an employer assumes that this certification means you are the expert and you will be able to protect my company. But it does mean that you have an indication of knowledge, of level of expertise, and if nothing else, that you took the time to go earn the certification. Some of these certifications can be accomplished in a week of study and a 4-hour exam. Some of them will require other types of work. If an advanced certification frequently has a requirement to keep the certification. And like many professions, the cybersecurity professional finds out that it can be just as hard to keep your certification as to get it in the first place. So I'm going to mention a few of them, and on that website, cyberseek.org, you can also look these up and find the same types of data about how many certificate holders there are or how valuable they are. So a baseline is Security Plus. The Security Plus certification created by CompTIA, a nonprofit training consortium, if you will, and they are a membership organization. CompTIA tells us that Security Plus is the most widely held certificate in cybersecurity. You can call it basic if you want to. That doesn't mean it's easy. It still has a bit of study to it. There are study manuals and textbooks around it, and there certainly is an exam that costs several $100s in the US to be able to take that exam and qualify. The Security Plus Basic, held by a lot of people and not really mentioned in a lot of job ads. You might be applying for a job that doesn't even mention Security Plus. Does that mean it's not valued? It is valued. It simply means that at a basic level, employers may not be accustomed to or care about listing every single basic qualification they think someone would have. Now, whether that means having Security Plus assures you of getting a job, no promises there. On the other hand, let's say that if it's in a job description, then you might consider that a requirement for the job. So Security Plus, basic level, lots of people have it, but that doesn't mean it's not a valuable thing to have. In a recent conversation with a consultant in cybersecurity, this fellow told me, you know what I think the real certification is today? It's the CISSP. And that's the one that I want to see everyone in the workforce holding. Well, that's a challenge because not everybody will get a CISSP. It's tougher to get, and you have to have been in the industry or working in the field for 5 years or more to be able to move into that level. On the other hand, think of that as a career ladder certification. And certainly in all professions, there are markers or milestones in career ladders. CISSP for now is holding that place in the States as being the indicator of a mature professional and someone who presumably is going to keep that certification. An advanced certification that I'll mention today is CISM. CISM is genuinely what we would consider an expert in cybersecurity. This person has experience, this person has taken the hardest of the exams, and this person is doing something every year to maintain learning and to keep learning in order to continue to hold that certification. There are certainly fewer numbers of CISM, and this is where we see more jobs asking for CISMs. I think we can expect that as the industry matures and just as the profession itself is developed, we will see more emphasis in these higher level certificates. That doesn't necessarily mean everyone will get them. Again, sector will matter. I'm from the university sector. I work with an IT department of just about 37 people. And right now, we look at 3 people with certifications. But that doesn't mean that in another sector, you might be expected to have half of the people already holding certificates of one kind or another. So part of it is where you're headed, what you need to get a particular job done, but then expecting this is the trend. We're going to see more of it. This is part of the professionalism, and you will need to be a consumer of those certificates.